What I would like to see this president or any American president do is to say the political horizon for the Palestinians includes an end to occupation within X months, not in Never Neverland, not in final status talks that will never take place. That's what we were told when I was negotiating in Washington in 91 to 93. Oh, there'll be final status talks. We'll deal with that later. No, end of occupation. Why not? There has to be an end of occupation. Violence is bred by occupation. Anybody who doesn't understand that doesn't understand anything. Secondly, an end to settlement expansion and rolling back of settlements. If you don't tell the Palestinians we're going to stop this, you're not going to have an end to violence, because when people's land is taken away and they're not given rights, of course they're going to rise up sooner or later. And finally, I think the United States has to look at the Palestinians as if they are people equal to any other people. They need to have the same rights as Israelis or any other people on earth. If we support democracy for Ukraine or wherever it may be, we should be supporting democracy for Palestinians. And if we support self-determination and an end to occupation, we should be supporting it for Palestinians as well.
But how do you then address Israel's legitimate security concerns? I mean, the fact of the matter is that there were 6 openings from Gaza to Israel at the beginning of the withdrawal of Israelis from the Gaza Strip. And in the wake of the repeated suicide bombings, that's why 4 of the 6 were closed and limited to 2. And you talked about sort of the open air prison. That is in part why that decision didn't happen in a vacuum.
I mean, we are now so far down the road from where we were in 2005, when Israel withdrew and built its system of control of Gaza from without. We're so far down the road from the 2006 elections or 2007 when Hamas took over Gaza. And a lot of water has flown under the bridge. But I think we have to step back and say, where are we going? Is Israel going to permanently occupy Gaza? Is anybody going to do that for them? If not, what do? You have to address the political problems at the root of this. If you just apply security band-aids and periodic bombings of civilians, which is basically all Israel has offered for the better part of a decade and more, you will get more violence. Violence produces violence. Massive violence produces massive violent reactions. I mean, this is not how should I say, rocket science.
But the Palestinians have repeatedly rejected the peace proposals that have been put forth since 1991. I mean, how should we think about that?
Well, there's proposals and there are peace proposals. If you're talking about a peace proposal, you're talking about a proposal which involves sovereignty, statehood, and independence for the Palestinians. No American proposal has ever led to that or been meant to lead to that. I mean, I was sitting there in Madrid and I was sitting there in Washington, and from a distance, I watched the Oslo process. At no stage did that process definitively say we are going to end occupation, we're going to roll back settlements, and at the end, you will have an independent Palestinian state. If you don't do those things, those are not peace proposals. Those are proposals to put the status quo in formaldehyde. That's what the United States and Israel have done ever since Madrid. Those were not peace proposals, unless you mean the peace of the dead or the peace of people who submit to not having equal rights, to not having sovereignty, to not ending a foreign military occupation that's gone on for 56 years. I don't accept that those were peace proposals. Even what Rabin said, Rabin went further than any Israeli leader. A couple of others got up to that point. He said in his last speech before the Knesset, there will not be an independent Palestinian state. And that was a time before you had suicide bombing, by the way. That was a time when Arafat and the PLO were wildly popular among Palestinians. And an agreement could have been sold effectively. The United States and Israel just didn't take that option of really pushing the thing to the end. How do you deal with Jerusalem? How do you deal with refugees? Nobody ever came up with a proper solution to these core problems. So they were not peace proposals. They were proposals. There was a process. There was no peace.